false alien threats. So let me start ticking these off for you. The abduction syndrome, totally a staged CIA and other corporate event.
All right, vetters, today we are discussing a false flag alien invasion event, potentially, from Dr. Stephen Greer, who was recently a guest on Patrick Bet-David's podcast, and he made some pretty, I guess, on par comments from Dr. Stephen Greer, right, about this sort of thing. But he's, talking about this false flag alien invasion, and as well as, alien abductions, right, that they're potentially not real, at least not in the way we thought they were.
I think more important issue is who has access to that kind of black money, and what will they do to keep it secret? That's the only reason I brought this up. So everyone thinks, oh, well, it's a $50,000 bribe. The amount of assets that this organization, it's a transnational criminal organization. It's not just U.S., it's global. And their long game, which is, I think, about to happen. I'll just say, let me give you a preview. There's two ways this comes out. It comes out truthfully, and it's quite clear that these non-human intelligences and craft are not hostile. If they were hostile with the technologies that they have, we'd be gone. We would have been gone in August of 1945 when we detonated the first atomic bomb. It had been over. However, they have spent a lot of money and time over the last 70 years staging, false alien threats. So let me start ticking these off for you. The abduction syndrome, totally a staged CIA and other corporate event. One of the men that we have who come forward recently was abducted by a Raytheon triangular craft, he and his wife, and suffered terrible injuries back in 2000, 2001. So that is not in dispute. We can prove what I just said.
I mean, there's a lot to sort of break down from this clip. One, how can we ever confirm that if there is this non-human presence on Earth, that it's not a threat or not, or what? There's no way to know definitively any which way, right? We've talked about that on the podcast numerous times. So, I don't know, teach their own there as far as that goes. But him saying that, a lot of this is just our own government doing this stuff to scare us, right? The abductions, it's a CIA thing, right? And now, granted, this sort of alien abductions aren't real sort of thing is interesting. They're not saying the abductions don't happen. They're just saying they're not aliens doing it, right? They're saying our own government is doing it, which is crazy. I mean, that's called something else. That's called kidnapping. I mean, that happens. We know that. But, how do you fake all the craft and everything that people see and stuff, if they're actually taking them, so. But in the Wilson Davis memo, okay, which is a very famous sort of memo that just got partially confirmed between scientists Eric Davis and Admiral Wilson, had a conversation in the early 2000s or late 90s, I can't remember, in the back of a car, and where Tom Wilson, I believe his name is Tom Wilson, Admiral Wilson tells scientist Eric Davis all these things about the program, everything he came up against, to try to get more information about the program. And one part in it says that abductions are not real, right? That's in the Wilson Davis memo. A lot of people don't talk about that. That is stated in that. And Eric Davis has come out saying that is that meeting took place. Admiral Wilson has denied it. But just very recently, to be honest with you, within the last couple of years, that has been confirmed from Eric Davis that at least from his side, that meeting took place, and Admiral Wilson told him that, right, about these abductions. So there is some history of that, it being that way as well. So Dr. Greer saying this, I don't know, because he goes on to say other things are also the doing of our own government, right, the American government, or just, humans. It's not aliens, it's humans doing some of these other things that are quite present in the UFO community.
The animal mutilations everyone hears about, those are 100% man. Those are human. They're all portrayed as alien. Then you have the sort of frightening stories of these objects being down in developing world countries. blowing up a whole village. That's us. We've done that.
Blowing up a whole village. What are we talking about? So, famously in the UFO community, part of the lore, the paranormal lore, is these animal mutilations, right? These cows that get their blood taken out, surgery that looks like it's done with a laser, just different cuts are odd. And, farmers and cattle ranchers find these dead, bovine out in the fields. There's a lot of stuff to it. I mean, it's a whole thing, right? It's like crop circles, right? You got cattle mutilations. And they're saying, Stephen Greer is saying, oh, that's humans too. What about, just like I mentioned, crop circle? What about crop circle? Everything is basically human. But he also believes in, these aliens that are here and doing stuff too. So it's like he doesn't attribute much to the aliens, right? That everything is man-made or reversed engineered from man-made stuff. So apparently we're keeping this, alien lore alive, right? By doing all these things. But why would we do those things? Is it because we, would Greer say that we learned that stuff from the aliens and that's why we did it? They did it once and then we just copycatted from that point on, or we just made up these things and said that's what they do, right? Why would we be doing these things? It doesn't make any sense. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I'm not saying aliens are doing it because I don't think, not necessarily saying that makes sense either. What is he basing all of this off of? He says we can prove it without it. Like, where's he, getting all this information? Just saying things here. It would be, every case, every abduction case, right? Every cattle mutilation, you know what I mean? Like blowing up villages. What are we talking about? Again, you know what I mean? What evidence how does he know every single case is one thing, right? He's so certain about everything. It's like maybe if his argument was more some of these are this and some of these are that would be different, right? But he's claiming all abductions, all cattle mutilate, all this, all that. If you believe in aliens, then you can't really. What if they're tricking you? What if they are doing it? What if they go down dressed as humans and do this? Right? They morph into humans. Yeah, I'm a human now. Whatever. That was an alien morphing into human. Anyway, I just, you know what I mean? What are we talking? How do we know? We don't know any. If the aliens are real and they're here, there's no way for us to know anything. Even if they're telling us stuff, there's no way for us to have anything for certain. We can't trust anything. So I don't know. Anyway, link in the description. Go check out this interview. Patrick Bet Davis podcast. I made a few videos about it, so check those out. All right, we'll see you on the next one. Remember, every day's a gift, y'all. Let me know what you think in the comments. Peace.
I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in the cradles, profanities. I see the world through ice covered in ink and bleach. Cross out the ones who heard my cries and watched me weep.